Hi everyone, my name's Alex Ball. I have 4 kids and I'm thinking about having another one. And I know what you're saying, but Alex, aren't kids expensive? Don't they take a lot of time? Aren't you worried about the world and climate change? And to that I say yeah, but also no. You know, having a large family has a lot of benefits. It provides stronger sibling bonds. It provides social benefits for the existing children and also just improves the overall family dynamic. So, you know, so let's take a look. Is the world really ending? Are kids really as expensive as everyone say they are? And what are some of the other benefits to having kids? Well, let's take a look, right? So, to figure out why people don't want to have another kid, I had to do a little bit of research, and I came across a Pew Research study from 2024. And some of the top reasons for people not having children are too expensive, um, are concerns for the state of the world and for the environment, or just negative experiences with their family growing up. So let's take a look at those. Now, are kids really that expensive? Well, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, um, it costs $233,000 to raise a child from 0 to 18. And now that's a lot of money, but I question their methods of adding that up, right? They're including things like insurance costs, housing costs, and transportation. And while that does play into it, chances are, before you had kids, you probably already had someplace that you lived and a car that you drove, right? So I don't know if that's fair to include those. But nonetheless, it does make for an interesting benchmark. Digging into the data on that study, I found some really interesting things. They actually had it broken down by cost of one child, the cost of 2 children, and the cost of 3 children. And this is back in 2015 dollars. So, you can adjust it from there. But as a baseline, I think it's really interesting. So, for one kid, the annual household expense, child-related expenses, was right around $11,000 to $12,000, depending on how old the kid is. Right, from 0 to 17, it fluctuates. But $11,000 to $12,000 for that first kid. Now, the second kid, it increased it, but it didn't double. Right, now the household annual child expenses, related expenses, is about 19,000. Right, so it went up about $8,000 for that second kid. Now the third kid I found really interesting. Adding that third kid brings the total cost annually for all 3 kids up to about 23,000. So only about a $4,000 addition or so. So yeah, kids are expensive, but you know what? The more you have, the less it costs per kid. So there's something for you, right? Um, Besides that, having kids, it really motivates you to work hard to try to get a raise at work or maybe a promotion, right? It provides that motivation. It teaches you how to really make a budget and stick to that budget, right? So, yeah, they're expensive, but not unmanageable, right? We've been doing it for a few years now. Besides that, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, ever since 1960, our poverty rates are going down steadily as a percentage of the overall population. Life expectancy is increasing. Education is more accessible than it ever has been. So that should be reassuring for you. But, if you've listened to the news lately, right, you've probably heard about all these wars going on. And yeah, well, it's true. There are wars going on in the world. If you look at the number of wars throughout history, we're going down, right? According to the Correlates of War published in 2020, the number of wars is decreasing. Not only that, but the length of the wars that we do have are shorter, and the human cost of those wars is declining as well. So, that takes care of the state of the world, right? It's bad, but it's not as bad as Al Jazeera and NPR might make it sound. So, what about climate change, though? Now, that is honestly a threat. And me, myself, I'm going to school to get my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and I've heard in more than one class that climate change is going to be the biggest challenge and the most important challenge that engineers are going to have to solve in the next coming years. What might be reassuring for you on that is I came across an IEEE survey, just surveying the general public and asking them, what is your confidence in engineers to solve the climate crisis? And 78% of people, nearly 4 out of 5, think that engineers are going to be able to help address climate change. And that was better confidence than scientists, researchers, and politicians. So, go engineers. So there you go, right? The world isn't as bad as it might seem. Kids aren't as expensive as everyone tries to tell you they are. And besides that, it comes with some benefits, right? So when you have kids, there's always that possibility, 20, 30, maybe 40 years from now, that your kids are going to have kids themselves, and that'll make you a grandparent. And now, I'll admit, I don't have any experience being a grandparent myself, but I suspect it's, well, grand. It's right in the name, after all. And why wouldn't they be? Right, grandparents, Fred Rogers told me once that grandparents often have more time for kids than moms and dads do. And I suspect that's true, right? As a dad myself, I know that I'm busy, well, at work, right, trying to get that promotion or that raise. I'm also busy running the kids to school and picking them up, taking them to band practice, robotics club, all the other stuff that they do, right? Taking them to doctor's appointments. Parents are very busy. Grandparents, they got more free time on their hands, right? They get time to actually enjoy that quality time with their kids. So personally, that's something that I look forward to quite a bit. On top of that, grandparents have more disposable income, right? Of course, they used to be parents themselves, so after years of working hard, getting that promotion, advancing their career, learning how to make a budget and stick to it, right? Those are skills that follow them beyond being parents themselves, right? Their kids are grown up, moved out of the house, but you still know how to make a budget and stick to it, right? So that's going to help you have disposable income to spoil those grandkids, take them to the museum, take them out for ice cream, and there you go, right? And, and besides that, right, the last benefit of being a grandparent is you really get to impart some of that wisdom and knowledge onto your grandkids as you spend time with them, right? Maybe even your kids if they ever start listening to you. You never know. Could happen. All right, so there you go. Considering the big picture, the world isn't nearly as doomed as the news makes it sound. Yeah, kids are expensive, but the more you have, the less expensive they get per child, right? And there you go. So, you know what, if you're a parent already, or you're considering being a parent someday, why not have another one?